Well, how do there, chums? 'Tis I, Captain of the Steves, and today, chums, for you guys in the Viewerverse, I'm thinking about what would be my perfect expedition. Yes, the next expedition, what I would love it to be, which I really hope it would be, is the following. So I would like it so you actually spawn in, once you initialize, into the appearance modifier. And you're upboard the Nexus right away. So you get to choose which character you get to roll with. Because for me, I always end up being a frickin' Viking. No, I would love to be able to select my actual race and my traveller and build them out before I even start. And then I was hoping that we could go and speak to, say, Nada and some of the other occupants inside of the actual Nexus. That'd be one of the sort of objectives. Go and talk to so-and-so, go talk to this person. You'll be popping badges while you're up here and being given things like maybe a new ship to start out with, like a nice little fighter. But then when you go and speak to Polo, this is where the action starts. And he talks about the strange new worlds being born into iteration through different updates, and that the fact that there might be some strange new worlds to be discovered inside of this expedition. And the expedition is to go and explore these strange new worlds, but to get to them you've got to go through a black hole. So yes, you have this dialogue about these strange new worlds and how they're appearing inside of iteration to get all the tantalization going for what you might discover upon these strange new worlds, which would be freaking excellent. And there's already the lore for that in-game, which is quite nice. So then he gives you the black hole coordinates to go to and pick on up. So that'd be pretty darn sweet, I guess. So after you've gone around the Nexus and spoke to all the NPCs and got a little bit of backstory, maybe new lore around them as well, and you've claimed a new ship, maybe something like an explorer or a lovely fighter like this, but maybe there's a choice of a couple of different ships. So maybe you speak to Mercury and he offers you a fighter, whereas you speak to Ariadne and maybe she offers you an explorer. You know? So yeah, you can pick up which ship you wish, pop different badges, claim different rewards. I mean, you've got the quick menu to choose a different ship, but you've been given black hole coordinates, which is the most important part, by Nada and Polo, and that they want you to go and investigate these new worlds that have appeared on the opposite side of the black hole. So you jumped through, send black hole, here we go. So yeah, black holes right now don't really serve a purpose, do they? Not now that we don't have portal interference, no longer a thing. So maybe Hello Games could rethink what black holes do and what purpose they serve. So yeah, a few ideas inside of this. So here we are in the black hole area of space, and as you're heading towards the black hole, maybe there could be some sort of intermission that comes up, maybe from Nada or Polo or some other chap or whatever, to warn you that going through said black hole is going to cause a time ripple in space-time continuum, which would be pretty darn sweet. And you head on through regardless anyway, because we're an intrepid explorer, blah blah blah. Or maybe you're already too late, you've started venturing in, a little bit like there. And yeah, once you emerge at the other side, you kaboom! Crash landing! No! Crash landing! And you're on a strange new world. Yes, the strange new world of Araya V? How amazing would this be? So you're actually on the Araya V planet that we got showcased back in E3. You can see here, look, there's little sentinel drones all going around, but there's giant sort of rhinoceros creatures. And there's the giant Diplos here. Now I'm thinking that once you've gone through said black hole and you're in this area of space that's been discovered by Hello Games, and it's Araya V, it's like, you know, one of the sort of rendezvous planets and systems that we get in expeditions now. It's a bit like that, apart from I think they should restrict the ability to build bases here or ever come back here outside of this expedition. But what would be nice if this was like a persistent expedition that you could pick up as a mission objective even after the expedition ends. Maybe they could squirrel it into game so you can rerun this, you know, which would be pretty darn cool. And but yeah, you can see there we've got a new ship sitting there, and it's the Alpha Factor. Yeah, so maybe once you've crash landed and your ship that you got given at the Nexus, that's completely monkeyed. You can't do nothing with it. It's completely busted. It's blown to shite. So you have to fix this ship. Fix this ship on Araya V using all the old resources like Heridium and all that sort of shenanigans. And it's completely old iteration with all the resources, so it really squirrels about with your head. That'd be freaking nice, wouldn't it? So it's learning all over again, but learning from vanilla. So all the people that didn't get to play the vanilla update, because now when you install it, you know, it updates and they don't know what Heridium is. But wouldn't it be nice to let them know what all these old elements were and plutonium and stuff? And yeah, so all this old system is very vanilla in resources and what you get. I think that would be pretty darn nice. I mean, yeah, if people come into the expedition, though, and it's the very first expedition they've ever done, it might throw them a tad, mightn't it? But anyhow, yeah, it could actually come up with what it is in this iteration and what it is in the new iteration. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the new resources. I'm not really too fast. And then you're going down to Salif Prime, and look at this. I've been given some wingmen. Now maybe those wingmen are Nada and Polo and, you know, Hesperus or Gemini or Helios, whoever from the Nexus, the NPCs that you formed some sort of kinship with as you was going around the Nexus, maybe they join you as wingmen. So at least you got the concept of wingmen. And yeah, maybe they're like commandeered sentinel ships or ships that make more sense, maybe full of Alpha Vectors or something, since you're in an Alpha Vector now that you've just fixed up, which would be pretty darn nice to have a squadron of them. So yeah, as you're just going around here, perhaps then you're given another sort of intermission or communique from somewhere inside of the verse, and look who it is. It's Artemis. We've got the unknown signal from Artemis, yeah, and this is sort of offset from what we know inside of the normal game and survival permadeath, where you have to put Artemis inside of the simulation, because this is a black hole and a completely different offset timeline and iteration. Maybe in this one we get to actually save Artemis. But not only save Artemis, but Artemis can actually give you a couple of their wares. It's like Artemis has got some very gnarly stuff upon their person. So they've got this sort of like view glass type thing, which, yeah, that could serve like an analysis visor and stuff, and maybe we get new tech. But look at his wrist. On his wrist is a different sort of multi-tool. So perhaps we could have whatever Artemis has had. You know, so yeah, pretty darn sweet. And look at the backpack. Look at the actual exosuit on Artemis, which is pretty nice. But there's no Telemon droid on there, so maybe there might have to be some sort of adaptation. Maybe that little light on the back could go backwards and forwards, like on Knight Rider or like on a Cylon. And that could be, you know, the exosuit or Telemon speaking. And maybe it could have like a bit like Kit or something on that sort of triangle bit. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? Some sort of like voice sort of analyzery type wave line. That'd be quite sweet. But yeah, there's ways and means that they could do it, but it'd be nice to be able to get that backpack, the torch, the analysis visor, and a new sort of multi-tool like Artemis has got for ourselves as rewards and as perks for doing this expedition. So maybe we save Artemis, and Artemis actually becomes a wingman that we can then have inside of normal iteration. So a transferable sort of reward, as well as all those others being transferable. They need to be transferable. And then once you go and speak to Nada and tell him that you've actually saved Artemis, Nada gifts you with his cape. I mean, Nada's cape is freaking great. I mean, the cloth physics needs some work. It's like a freaking eye. It's like he's freaking ironed it with baking soda or something. Who knows? But there we go. Let's head on out. And yeah, and we carry on exploring some very nice sort of worlds from sort of E3, and you know, like the IGN first, so maybe they throw in a few more of those sort of planets that we saw way back in Yonder, and you get some really lush landscapes, some nice forests, maybe the original swamp biome that they actually teased in GDC 2015 and things. So a real throwback to all of those sort of planets that aren't actually currently in iteration, and maybe after this expedition, maybe they could throw in something that when you go through black holes, it takes you into this subverse. Because at the moment, black holes don't really serve any rhyme or reason. But if they brought it in this way, through an expedition that going through a black hole takes you into a parallel dimension where there is no real base building or anything like that, and the creatures that you see there, they're not tameable, you can't get them as pets. It's like those giant diplos and things. And it could be a universe that Hello Games has got complete control over, and they can do whatever they like with it and show all sorts in there. So there's always somewhere to go in through a black hole. I think that'd be freaking epic. So yes, people in the viewerverse, if you've got ideas to enhance this, please put them in the comments. Or if you've got a better idea of your own for an expedition, again, stick it in the comments. I'd love to read it. May do a follow-up video on all of this. It's coming round to the time for speculation, so maybe we might cover it off in the podcast that me and Kurt usually do. No Man's Sky Assistant app. Yeah. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe. And I'd like to say a massive, great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers. And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve that little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.